Hello everybody, welcome back to Dress Your Face Live. I swear every time I come in front of this webcam thing that we have going on, I always feel like I've missed you and I'm like dying to see you guys again. So thank you for tuning in. I started just a few minutes later just to make sure that we have the last minute people come on and make sure everyone's on and ready to go. So if you guys have any questions for us for after class, you know what to do. Go on my latest post on Instagram, which is this one right over here. I love how things just pop up. This one right over here, and ask whatever questions you may have for the Q&A. And at the end of class, I'll go ahead and answer as many as I can before time runs out and we have to go bye-bye. But today's a very special class because this is one that you guys have specifically requested. Remember at I think it was my New York show where I had my master class and I did my makeup with this Vampy Glam look. It was a dark reddish blackish lipstick and the eyes were like a smoky crease and the lid was like a shimmery kind of a frosty light shade. And you guys went crazy over that look, and I wanted to make sure that eventually we can show it on DYFL, and I'm so glad I was able to sneak it in our curriculum this month. So here we go. We have this show, and this is my beautiful model, Miss Zora Sadat. I have been tagging her in all my posts, so you guys can stalk her now because she's so stunning, isn't she? I love the fact that you guys are just so welcoming on all my models, and the comments that you've been writing have been incredible, and yes, she is perfect without makeup. She doesn't need a damn thing, but it's gonna be pretty, it's gonna be fun to transform her because right now she has that like, you know, the sweet girl next door look, and now we're about to transform her into this like sexy vampy glam, which is so perfect for this time of year. We are full on into fall season. This is where we can go darker, we can go heavier, and you know, especially for the holiday parties coming up. We got Halloween coming up around the corner. I really wanted this class to happen now so that it can help inspire you guys for your Halloween looks and your fall parties and winter parties and whatnot. So I'm a huge fan of this look, and I'm just so happy that Zora is our model today so that we can learn it and you guys can practice it. For those of you who have been my students for a while, you already know the drill, so you guys can actually practice along unless you guys want to take specific notes and then practice later when you watch the actual recording. For those of you who are new onto DYFL, if this is your first ever class or if you haven't taken a whole lot of classes and you're still kind of new, go ahead and use this time, this first time that you're watching it, to write down all your notes and to get your stuff on paper, and then re-watch it once you watch the recording later, and then you can practice along and do your practical knowledge the second time you watch this class. This class is going to last approximately somewhere between 1 and 2 hours, including our Q&A, most likely around an hour and a half, which is usually how long my classes run. But if it goes a little over, then, you know, it's cool. You guys can totally log off and do your thing and watch the rest of it later. No big deal. That's the beauty of DYFL. You have the chance to see it live and to ask your questions live, and you can always watch it again and again and again as many times as you want. And by the way, I don't know if you guys noticed, but remember when we first launched a year ago? Oh, by the way, guys, happy anniversary! Yes, congrats to all of you. You are, you know, especially the girls out there who are day one girls. This has been such a journey with you guys, and I'm so happy to have you on the DYFL Army. You're on this train to greatness, and it is my pleasure to serve you, and it is my pleasure to teach you and to help you, you know, grow, whether it's in your businesses or if it's just for your own self. It's a beautiful thing. So congrats on completing a year with us. And if you guys are new, you know what? You have not missed anything. We will continue to teach from beginning to end in all my classes. Today's class is a beginning to end class, start to finish class. So you're going to go over all the powder and the foundations and all that stuff too. So you're not going to miss anything. Don't even worry. That's what I love about continuous education. You can start whenever and you'll just flow right into the curriculum, and it's beautiful. So anyway, that being said, you know, I just wanted to, you know, give everyone a huge high five. You guys rock. I see all of your posts and I love them. So if you guys ever recreate something that you learned on DYFL, go ahead and hashtag Dress Your Face Live or DYFL Army, and I will go ahead and look through those hashtags and show you guys my love too, because I love making sure that you guys are on point, and if there's anything that I feel like you guys need help in, I can be sure to answer some of those questions in the next class. So I just think that that's like pretty awesome. Yes. Also, we have been selling out so fast on all of our beauty boxes, but I have some good news for you guys. Those of you who signed up for a year membership, who pre-signed up for your following year, or those who are thinking of signing up for a year, we do have more shipments coming in, so we'll talk about that on Instagram later. But you do still have your chance to get your beauty box. I don't want to leave anyone behind. So we will keep ordering our goodies. You will keep receiving goodies, you know. It's a great thing. I love how everything has evolved. You know, like we started off, oh yeah, the thing that I was telling you originally, I don't know if you noticed this, but when we first started, we used to record the classes as well. So we had the live classes, we used to record them, and it would be up for 48 hours. Then we stretched it to 72 hours. Then we stretched it for a week so that you have a whole week to catch up on past classes. Now we have it for a month. Yes. We have been listening to your feedback. It's a shame when I hear that you guys, you know, have so much going on and that you can't watch a recent class because it just expires too quickly. So guess what? We don't have a quick expiration anymore. You have all month to watch it. So at any given time, you have 4 to 6 classes up to watch at all times. And it'll keep, you know, updating as each month passes. So you have plenty of time to catch up on all these classes, which I just absolutely love the idea that you guys will not miss out anywhere. So I hope you guys are happy with all these updates and changes. So let's go ahead and get started with this class. If you guys are following along, go ahead and get your stuff together. We're going to do face first and then eyes and lips. And this is officially the Vampy Glam full face makeup tutorial. So exciting. So first things first, we are going to prime the face. Always, 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 you have to, if you're going to do this on a client, make sure you are sanitizing your hands before you get started, and you want to sanitize right in front of your client so that she knows that you're clean. And then we're going to zoom in so that you can see the face a little bit more clearly. And the first thing that I do is a primer, so I'm just going to whip out a basic primer here. Zora, is your skin feeling dry these days or pretty normal?
Pretty normal.
Okay. I'll use my YSL primer here. YSL. Just going to put a couple pumps on the back of my hand, and I'm going to massage it onto her skin. Also, I am just going to use a little bobby pin to clip her hair back just a bit. Actually, I have a clip right here. Let's use a bobby pin. So this is the primer. I just like to use my hands. That way I can feel that it's going on nice and smoothly. Make sure you're going everywhere with the primer, all over the face, especially any areas that you feel are super dry or super oily, any uneven texture, go ahead and smooth over. Feels good to me. All right, good. So now that this first step is done, we're going to go into foundation. And because she has a beautiful tan going on her body, I am going to match her to a slightly darker tone. Also, because we are doing a very vampy look, and I don't want her face to look too white up against all the Vampy Glam, so I am going to match her to something more bronze. So this is the Studio Fix Foundation Liquid in NC44. This is a couple shades darker than her natural, but again, she has a beautiful tan going on her body, so I want to make sure that everything looks nice and even for her in general. brush that I'm going to use right now is the Morphe 427 brush, Morphe 427, and I'm just stamping it right into the skin. Stamp, stamp, stamp. That way you're pushing product in, it's going to look a lot smoother, and you're getting a fuller coverage without wasting product by wiping or buffing. So no buffing, you guys. Stick to stamping, and that is going to give you a much smoother finish. Just like this. Nice and smooth. I love how rich this color looks on you. Totally going with that tan. And whatever's left on your brush, go ahead and drag it down to the neck. Again, if you guys are just logging in right now, go ahead and ask your questions on my latest post on Instagram so that later on I can go back and make sure that the popular questions are answered before we end the session today. And I'm just stamping in until I see that the product is kind of disappearing and it looks a lot smoother on the skin. I'll give you guys a minute to catch up. I see that a lot of you are logging in right now, so we'll just wait a couple minutes to make sure that all of you are on. People still logging in? I'm just gonna keep patting it in for those of you who are logged in. I like to kind of keep patting so that it can dry a little bit. By the way, today's highlight and contour is going to be with powders, so I can show you a different way to highlight and contour. So I do prefer that the makeup is settled before applying all the powders. Let me know when I should continue, Yeah? Okay. still recording, correct?
Mhm.
Perfect. Okay, guys. So it looks like we're doing all right here. Go ahead and make sure you stay logged in. There's a lot of people trying to log on right now. We're going to go ahead and continue the class. Perfect. So far, for those of you who just logged in, so far we only did the primer, which is the YSL Touche Eclat Primer, which I'll show you right now what it looks like. It's pretty amazing. It's like kind of a holy grail type of product. This one over here, YSL. This can be found at Sephora. And I put that on all over using my fingers, and then after that I applied the NC44, which is a darker color, of foundation, MAC Studio Fix. I used that all over with the Morphe 427 brush. Looks like this. So MAC Studio Fix NC44 just to darken up the face a bit, and then this lovely brush here, Morphe 427. To stamp it literally just like this. Okay? That's all we did so far, so don't worry, you didn't miss much. I usually like to talk a little bit before class, so just to make sure you guys are all on. So now that the foundation is done, we're ready for the concealer. So with the concealer, we're going to go ahead and apply it using this brush here. Let's see. This is the 287 brush from MAC. Right over here. I'm just going to give it a little wash with my Cinema Secrets Spray Brush Cleaner, my favorite brush cleaner because it works so fast. And it evaporates really quickly, so you can actually wash your brushes right in front of your clients and not have to wait for them to dry all the way. And for the concealer, we're going to use the MAC Pro Longwear Concealer in NC42. I love NC42 because it has a little bit of this apricot tone in it. Here's what it looks like. It's not a super dark color, it just has a lot of apricot tone in it, and that brightens up the under eyes, and it really evens out the areas around the eyes. So we're gonna use one side of the brush here, the 287 by MAC, and we're literally just going to stamp it along the bottom eye area. And as we stamp it, it starts to set, and that's exactly what we want. We want it to start drying and setting as we're stamping so that it doesn't move around before we set it with powder. So stamping and setting it. As we stamp, it starts to dry and it starts to set. And that's exactly what we want. Notice that I'm using my brush flatly and not poking this way. It's just flat. That way it's not driving her crazy. Once you start to see that the product is like kind of looking like her skin again, it doesn't look too cakey on the surface, it's nice and smooth, then you can move on to other areas that may need a little concealing. Like around the nose, I usually like to add a little concealer around the nostril just in case it gets oily there. Now we have this barrier, this Pearl Longwear barrier, so it doesn't get too oily throughout the day. So we're just pushing it right in. Throughout the tip of the nose as well, just so it doesn't separate. And whatever's left, we can go a little bit around the mouth, especially around the corners. Any areas of shadow and darkness. She doesn't really have any darkness around here, but most of us do. And that's pretty much it with the foundation and the concealer. So now that we're done with that, we are ready to go ahead and start setting with powders, and then we're going to highlight and contour with powders as well. So I like to use the MAC Studio Fix powders because they have a great full coverage, and I'm going to use a small brush first with the NC25, which is a very light color, but that's going to be our highlight color for her. This is NC25 Studio Fix powder by MAC, and this particular brush is 227 by MAC. And go ahead and look up all the way. First, I smooth out her any creasing, just to make sure that I'm setting a smooth area. And now I'm pushing in this light colored product right along the under eyes. So we're doing like a little triangle right along here, going down the nose to the laugh line and going right back up to the top of the cheekbone. And we're pressing the powder in so that it fuses with the makeup. It also blurs the skin, so everything just looks smoother. See how I'm starting with the lash line and then I work my way lower. We're going down the side of the nose and across the top of the cheekbone and filling everything in. This only works if somebody does not have super, super, super dry skin and wrinkly skin. If you're working on someone that has more mature, dry skin, wrinkles, and flakiness, then you want to highlight more with a concealer, like a creamy concealer, and a little bit less powder. Only because it's gonna make them feel drier and look drier, so you don't want that. But on most everyone else, you can go crazy like this. If you guys have not yet seen my mature skin tutorial, you can watch that on the All Access Pass if you guys have that. If you don't have it, you can sign up for the All Access Pass and see all my past tutorials. Now I'm going to focus on this middle part of the forehead, brightening it up from arch to arch, pressing in the product. And I'm going to go sideways with my brush down the bridge of the nose. That's going to highlight the center of the nose. Just as so. Now you can see that the skin's starting to blur. It's starting to look a lot more smooth. And a little bit on the center here. So we got the T-zone covered and we got the under eyes covered. Now we're done with the highlight powder. We can move on to the contouring powders. We're going to mix a couple different contour powders here. I'm going to mix the NW43, which I really love. Most of my stuff is NC, by the way, but I only like I tried this one NW color, which is NW43, and I liked how it looked on my arm, so I bought it, and it actually does look really good on Zora. And I'm going to mix it with NC42 as well. So I'm going to start off with the NC42. I'm going to use my Samey brush. This is my Samey brush 2.1. And we're going to first apply it all throughout her contour zones. We're just dusting it right on like a feather. Just like that. We're also going to do the temples, around the perimeter of the forehead. We're going to go down the jawline. And we're going to softly, I'm pinching the bristles a little bit so I can fit the side of the nose. And then now we can fill in any other areas that have not yet been set. So I can smooth out this whole jawline very lightly. I went heavier here, lighter here. And any areas that just look too ghostly compared to the rest of the tan that she has going on, I'm going to go ahead and add a layer of this over it just to warm it up a bit. So see how I'm just kind of transitioning the color. So now it's like super light to a medium to a dark, just by layering. Okay, so now that the whole face has been set, we can go in with that darker one in W43. Same brush, and I'm going to chisel in the cheekbones a little bit more with this. So I'm going to have you turn a little bit here, so now you can see how it's been chiseled just a little bit more here. And we're going to turn the other way a little bit, and chisel this as well. So it's all about building the intensity. I really just wanted to show you this other way to contour, how quickly it does the job for you. Still, cream contour and then adding the powder contour over the cream contour is still the most HD, the most photogenic way of doing things, because flash photography can still penetrate through powder, but it will not be able to penetrate all the way through cream foundations and stuff, so it shows up better when you have a cream. But if you're not doing some crazy flash photography, this is just fine. And we're just bronzing up the neck a little bit. So everything is looking nice and smooth, blurred from the full coverage powders, and really, really flawless. So at this point, we're ready to add a little bit of highlight and a little bit of blush. But I want to show you one more thing with the contour and the highlight. This is an optional step with the Anastasia contour kit. If you guys are fans of the contour kit, this is how I would use it at this point. I have this brush, the 189 from MAC, which I really love. It's a paddle brush. And I can go in with Golden Peach mixed with Banana from the Anastasia contour kit, the powder kit. And I can re-brighten just the area around the eyes by patting it in. So Banana and Golden Peach. And I'm just patting it in around this eye area. And a little bit down the bridge of the nose, and that's it. And that kind of helps with just re-brightening around, especially if you're going to do a smoky eye. It's nice to have that contrast right around your eye area. It's really beautiful. Awesome. Now we're ready for some shimmer and some blush. So going into the shimmer, I'm going to use my favorite highlighter from Saleha Beauty. This is called Hollywood Gold. Saleha Beauty Hollywood Gold. Give me glow. This is what it looks like. It's so stunning. And I'm going to use this on the peaks of her cheekbones. If you have any other, if you keep getting other highlight products, that's fine too. Each highlight has its own kind of a benefit to it. But the reason why I like the Saleha one is it's very refined, and you can see right now, it's very, very smooth. And I can roll it down with my fingertip. So if you guys are following along, go ahead and grab your favorite highlight now and follow along with me. I'll wait about 30 seconds or so for you guys to get those down. And you want to just pat it in right on the top of the cheekbone. And then with your ring finger or middle finger, smooth out the edges of it, so it looks like it's one with the skin. Looks super, super smooth. On the other side as well. Smooth it out. And use your fingers to blend. See how gorgeous that looks? It's amazing. Oh my gosh, I love it. We're going to smooth the tops here. And smooth down the bridge of the nose a little bit. And a small amount, whatever's left on your brush, top of the lips and the chin. Make sure you're always smoothing out with your fingertips too. We don't want any chunks of shine just sitting on the surface of the skin. You really want it to warm up with your makeup. So I'm gonna have Zora do a kind of side-to-side turn so you guys can see that beautiful highlight throughout her skin. You guys can take your screenshots. Remember, when you post your screenshots of DYFL, feel free to hashtag DYFL Army and Dress Your Face Live so that I can go in, or I can go in, we can see your post, show you guys some love. I love this skin. It's like, it's delicious. It looks so beautiful, so beautiful. All right, cool. Now we're ready for the blush. We're gonna do something pretty neutral here. I don't wanna go too crazy with the blush, especially since we're going crazy on the eyes and the lips. I'm gonna go in with my blush brush from MAC. It's the angled cheek brush here. And I'm gonna go in with this color called Buff from MAC. And we're just gonna add a little bit of color right in between the highlight and the contour. And all that does is it gives a little bit of color so that you don't look like it's just brown on brown. It has a little bit of dimension, a little bit of flesh to it. So it's a really soft blush with this look. You don't want to go too heavy. But of course, if you're going to do it for, Halloween, then in that case, I would do the cream contour on the highlight. I'd really go crazy. I'd go sharp with it. And you can go a little bit more berry with the blush if you really want it to show up in pictures and stuff like that. But this is how much I would do if you're actually going to an event. So now the face is officially done. See how easy that was? So just to recap the face for those of you who are just joining us, we started off with the YSL Touche Eclat Blur Primer all over the face. I used my fingers for that. Then we went in with the 427 brush from Morphe and applied in a stippling motion the foundation, which was MAC Studio Fix NC44, all over the face, and we let that sit and dry for a second. Once that was set, we did the under eye concealer. It was the MAC Pro Longwear NC42, and we used the 287 brush from MAC to stamp it under the eyes. And we kept stamping until it started to dry, and that's the point. We wanted to settle so that we don't have it moving around the eyes over and over, and it would be just a total mess. So we wanted to stamp it, smooth it out, make sure everything's looking good before we get that powder on. So once all the cream stuff was done, we went into the powder. I used a few different colored powders from MAC Studio Fix. We used the NC25 powder under the eyes and all the T-zone area for the highlight. Then we used the NW43 and the NC42 mix on all the contour zones. And we really created this great three-dimensional look on the face. Then we followed up with the Anastasia Beverly Hills Banana and the Golden Peach under her eyes on both sides and down her T-zone a little bit. And then we added the highlight, the Saleha Beauty Give Me Glow in Hollywood Gold, which, by the way, I have a discount code for that. This is the product. Again, this is the highlight here. You can see how stunning this highlight is, very smooth and creamy. And the discount code is DYF15, so it's DYF15 when you check out on SalehaBeauty.com. So you can get that. My favorite highlight right now. Once we did the highlight, we did the blush in Buff from MAC, and that concluded our face. So now we're going to go into the eyes and the eyebrows. So the first step for the eyes is to go ahead and do the eyeshadow base. I'm going to use the Soft Ochre Paint Pot by MAC, Soft Ochre, and I'll use the same concealer brush we used earlier, the 287. And close your eyes, yeah. And we're just going to apply a nice even amount throughout her eyelid, all the way up to the underbrow. Notice how I'm switching my direction with my strokes. That way I'm not skipping over any creases and lines. I'm going in between every little layer of skin. I love this eyeshadow base more than the translucent eyeshadow bases because it actually covers up the translucent skin. And it looks like a concealer, and I love that. Everything shows up much more smooth and bold over something that has coverage. All right, so now that we've prepped the eyes, we are ready for the first step of the eyes, which is the underbrow highlights. I'm gonna apply from the Lorac Gold palette. I'm gonna apply this color right here, which is called Undressed, with my 239 brush from MAC. It's just a flat shader brush. And I'm just pressing it right into the brow bone. Again, pressing it right into the brow bone. I start with the arch and then I work my way on both directions. Now that that part's done, I can get the eyebrows over with and then continue with the eyes. I promised you guys I would show you how to do brows, so here's a little tutorial on brows real quick. Go ahead and whip out the brow product that you wish to use. I'm going to use my angled brow brush from Anastasia Beverly Hills. It has a spoolie at the other end of it, and I'm going to use dip brow and dark brown. Go ahead and whip out whatever brow products you want to use, but again, I'm going to use a dip brow. This is what the dip brow looks like. It's a pomade. It's like an eyeliner gel almost. And I'm going to take out a little bit of product and use the back of my hand. I'm going to close it right away because I don't want it to dry up, and I'm going to put it back in my kit now so I don't have to worry. Now I'm going to sharpen the bristles of my brush with this product, and we're going to get started here. So the brows technically should start where the nostril goes straight up here. That's where you want to make a little mark as to where the brows would start. So I'm going to bring them into that mark right there. And they should end where your tip of the nose lines up with the outside of the end of the eye. And when it continues, this is where it would end, right in there. So you make a little mark there. And the arch would be from the tip of the nose, lined up to her iris, her pupil right in the middle of the iris. And that's where her arch would be, which is already at a fine point. So we're going to do that to both sides first, just to make our marks. Okay, now that we've made our marks, we can start filling in the brows and kind of having fun with it. So we're going to start with this brow. I'm going to start with the bottom edge. I like to do the tail and the arch first to get that over with. So we're just going to fill that in real quick. Now we're going to work our way into the rest of it. So starting with that bottom edge, working my way in and ending at that mark that I made in there. And with the tops, we're doing small, small strokes. I don't like to go too strong with the tops. And also, whatever's left on the brush, you can coat over the brow hairs just a bit, just to remove some of that powder that must have fallen on it. Now, for that beginning little part, that little gap that we have in between her natural brow and where we wanted to start her brow filling, we're going to make tiny, tiny little hair marks going straight up in the direction that the rest of her hair goes. And we're going to use a spoolie to blend. I don't want any crazy edges, so I am going to blend that initial mark. And we're just going to make little hairs. And that is how I like to do Zora's brows. So if you want to kind of do a side to side little comparison, There we go. We'll do the same on the other side now. So we're going to start off under the arch, finish up that tail. Give it a little brush through, make sure the powders are away from there. And we're going to darken up that base line. We're going to straighten it up just a bit, just so it doesn't have a higher arch than the other side. And I'm making that baseline all the way down. Okay, so I made that base. Now we're going to work on filling in the body. So right in here, small strokes, all the way in. And now to work on that beginning piece, the little gap area, we're going to make small hair strokes. And we're going to use our spoolie to fade the edges. Got to make it look as natural as possible. No Sharpie eyebrows. Okay. Looking pretty good there. And of course, no two eyebrows are going to be exactly the same. Naturally, the hairs don't grow the same. The shape is going to be a little bit different. One eyebrow might be a little higher than the other. So let's say if an eyebrow is higher than the other, like if this one we want to go a little bit lower, just add another layer of color a little lower and push it up into the rest of the brow. And to balance it out, we can go a little higher on this end so it looks a little bit more even. Make sure there's no gaps. Cool. Ta-da! Brows done. That was your little brow tutorial in this class. Now we can finish up the rest of this beautiful glam look on the eyes. So now that we have the brow done, the eyebrow highlight has already been done, we can start working on the crease. The first thing I like to do for the crease is to go in with the, let's see which brush we're going to use today. The J142 brush from Hakuhodo. Hakuhodo J142. It's like the 222 from MAC. And I'm using this color here, Undeniable, from the Lorac Gold Unzipped palette. And I'm just going to lightly do a rainbow, like a windshield wiper sweeping in her natural eye socket. So for those of you who have hooded eyes like I do, I go a little higher. So go ahead and open your eyes. Like you want to feel, like let's say if she did have hooded eyes, you would have to kind of feel where that bone is, and right under the bone is where you want to do your windshield wiping. So I have hooded eyes, so instead of going according to the fold, I ignore the fold of my eye and I feel where the bone is, that socket, and that's where I apply the crease color. If you guys have ever seen my own Bollywood transformation on myself, you'll see my hooded eyes and you'll see how high I go with my crease, just to offset the hood. So we have a little bit of this shadowing going on. I like this as a transition. And I start to build the darkness. So now I'm going to go in with the Tamana palette. And I'm going to dip into this color called Chocolate. Same brush, just the tip of the brush though. You don't want to oversaturate your brush. So when you use just the tip of the brush, you're going to transfer that color right into the edge of the crease. So try not to get it all over the lid. Try to keep it just at the edge of the crease. One way to prevent it from getting on the lid is instead of holding your brush like this, you want to go straight in so that the bristles don't touch your lid. Or you can go a little higher, like that. So do not hold your brush in a downward angle like that from below. Go straight in and it will transfer exactly where you want it to without going all over the eyelid. See how that crease is starting to pop through? All right, now we are ready for the eyelid color, which is going to be a very pale, kind of a frosty shade. So what we're gonna use is first we're gonna do a layer of Undressed from the original, the Lorac Gold Unzipped, the one that we did under her eyebrow. That's the color we're gonna use all over her eyelid now. So I'm gonna just do the press and slide. Pressing and sliding all the way down and cutting through the eyelid. So now we've filled in the eyelid. And slice it right underneath the crease. Okay, once you have your eyelid done, go in with that frosty shade from my palette, the Tamana palette, which is called Blush. This one here, same brush. Take a good amount of it, and this is going to give a little bit of a sheen to that eyelid. And slice right underneath the crease. It's going to kind of create a little bit of a cut crease action, and then you can go back with your blending brush and smooth out any little dust particles that went on your crease. Going back to the blush color, doing the press and slide all the way across the entire lid, slicing through, and using your blending brush to just smooth out the crease. See how smooth that looks? Nice and shiny. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the eyeliner on, and then I'm going to add black shadow to that outer corner of the eyeliner itself and bring the black eyeshadow into the crease a little bit. So we're going to stop the eyeshadow for now, and we're going to go right into the eyeliner portion. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to use my winged eyeliner brush from Sigma, or any eyeliner brush that you like. I'm just going to clean it real quick, make sure it's nice and fresh. And we're going to dip into my favorite waterline eyeliner. I use this for the waterline all the time. Inglot Black Gel Liner number 77. Inglot. It's their blackest black. And I'm just going to take a chunk and apply it on the back of my hand. Again, I'm going to close this so it doesn't dry, and I'm going to put it away right away. And now with this little Sigma eyeliner brush, I'm going to apply it underneath. So I'm going to work on her bottom eye first, and then I'm going to work on the top lash line. Go ahead and look up all the way. So I'm going to do her bottom lash line first. Make sure you're going all the way from corner to corner. And now that we've done the lash line, we have to bleed it over the edge of the eye lash line. So, see how I'm going right below the lashes now? I'm bleeding it right below. So it's gonna look thick and messy right now, but don't worry, once we get that eyeshadow on it, it's gonna look a lot smoother. I just need enough product to work with first. Other side. Going pretty thick with it. Don't be afraid. Okay, so see how thick and crazy that looks right now? Now we just have to add eyeshadow to it, but before I do that, I'm gonna go ahead and complete her top liner real quick. Go ahead and close your eyes. We're gonna work whatever's left on our hand into the lash line. Just to establish a little bit of that line going on. We'll do the wings with a different eyeliner. I want you to see how easy it is with a different liquid liner. But for now, this is it with the Inglot gel. So we can now put away our brush. And we're gonna go in with a small smudger brush. My favorite little baby, which is the M515 brush from Morphe. This little smudger brush here, it's super tiny. I'm gonna go in with my black eyeshadow from the Tamana palette, the Noir. Go ahead and look up. And we're gonna set the waterline with this black eyeshadow. And then whatever's left on the brush, we're gonna dust it below. Right underneath. So it starts to get this smoky appearance. Again, go in the waterline, set it so it doesn't smudge throughout the day, and then whatever's left on your brush, you can just scribble right below her eyeliner to give her that smoky effect. Okay, now that that's done, we're gonna go in with the Morphe G27 brush, which is from their Gunmetal collection. It looks like a pencil brush. I'm gonna go in with Chocolate now, from the same Tamana palette. And up again. I'm going to apply the chocolate right below the black. So now we're going to have that transitional effect of black to brown. And it really starts to look smoldery. If you see any dust floating around, go ahead and just whack it off right away. You don't want any eyeshadow dust sitting on the cheeks, otherwise it's going to start to settle. So immediately remove any eyeshadow dust. Again, this is a chocolate color. I'm doing it right below the black, overlapping just slightly. And smoothing off any dusty particles. Okay? So now you can see that really smoky under eye. Now that we're done with that, we can go on to applying the wings of the liner and finishing up her top liner. This is the eyeliner that I really love, also from Soleha Beauty. You can still use my code on this, DYF15 on solehabeauty.com. This is the Arabian Nights eyeliner. I want you to see how amazing it is. Look at the fine tip, and you can make the wing and it won't mess up. It's so amazing. It does take practice to do the wings in general, guys, no matter what product you're using. This isn't something that's just like, you know, the simplest part of makeup. This is one of the hardest parts of makeup for eyes. So just kind of be patient and practice, and you'll get better and better and better. So the first thing I'm going to do is the inner wing. So she's going to look up in that direction. So that's stretching her eye. And I'm just going to use the tip of this brush to very slightly make that wing on the inner corner. And I'm going to connect it into the rest of her eyeliner on the bottom. And she's going to look up a little bit, and I'm going to connect it to the top a little bit. Just as so. So you guys can see it's a very, very sharp eyeliner right there. Same on the other side. She's going to look over here a little higher. And I'm just going to create my little wing first using the tip of the applicator. Just the tip of the applicator. Now I'm going to connect it in with the liner underneath the eye. And now I'm connecting it to the top of the eyeliner. So I went line, connect bottom, connect top. Wing first, always wing first. I'm going to do the same on that outer corner so you guys can see the outer wings as well. So over here, while the eyes are open, I'm going to create a wing, just as my guideline. Now she can close her eyes. And I'm going to smooth that bottom edge, connect it with the bottom of her eyeliner here. I'm going very light with the end of the wing. So, and the trick is, I'm going to show you on my hand real quick. When you do your wing, you want to point your bristle, your applicator, in the direction that the wing is flowing into. So let's say here's the eyeball, right? Here's the nose. You're going to hold your applicator in the same direction that your wing is going. So I'm going to go like this. That's going to be the wing. Then connect it to the bottom and connect it to the top. And then if you need to, you can extend the end of the wing just a bit. And that's what we're doing here. I made the wing, I connected it to the bottom, now I'm connecting it to the top. And I'm going to complete the rest of her eyeliner with this beautiful black liquid liner. Open. And now there's a very sexy kind of a eye shape, cat eye shape. We'll do the same on the other side as well. While the eyes are open, we're going to create a little bit of a wing here. Okay, it's up to you how much you want your wing to go out. I go really dramatic with it, but of course you want to ask your clients what they feel comfortable with. Might as well extend this too. Alright, now, close your eyes. Now I can stretch it out, make sure that the bottom edge of the wing is nice and sharp and it aligns with the bottom edge of her eyeliner. And then we're We're gonna line the top, make it kind of thick, and go all the way in. And you can see how grand everything looks. So exotic. Close again. We're gonna go a little thicker right there. For a really, really intense cat eye. See how thick that is? Now it looks crazy right now, but this next step involving the black eyeshadow really brings everything together again. I'm just gonna extend this a little bit more to match the other side. This makes such a beautiful Halloween costume if you're gonna be like a vampy, glam vampire. I'll try to repost some of my own Halloween looks from the past. I did this vampy glam kind of a vampire look and it was really cool. So just doing your makeup exactly like this in class and then adding fangs and maybe like a little drip of blood on the side of the mouth and you have your own Halloween costume, just wear all black or something, or a dress. So now I'm gonna go in with my little brush here. This is the Morphe 506 brush. It's a little fluff. And I'm gonna go in with my black eyeshadow, the Noir from the Tamana palette, just with the tip of the brush. And I'm going to add this right on this outer corner of the eye. So open your eyes real quick. Right where her fold of the eyelid, the crease, meets with the eye wing, that's where you want to make your mark. And very softly bring in that color. It's got to be really dark in that corner, and then everything else can be blended. And I'm just gonna roll it in so you can see some of this black throughout her crease. Now the cool thing is, because we already did so much of that blended effect in her crease before, we don't have to blend so much of this. It's just going to be in layers. But if you feel like you lost some of that blended part, go back in with that fluffy blending brush that you used earlier with your chocolate color and just go right above the black with that. Just like that, how beautiful. So going back with the black, I'm just kind of redarkening the edge there. And fluff off any dust. I'm also going to go in with that little baby 515 brush with the black. Go ahead and look up. And we're going to connect that wing in with the bottom lash line. So the whole thing just looks really smoky and amazing. No disconnect. Awesome. See how pretty? So go ahead and do this like side to side looking down so they can see the difference. So this is the Vampy Glam crease, and then the other side is a softer brown crease where it's just a very major cat eyeliner. This is more mod 1960s type, whereas this version on the other side is that dark, very Vampy Glam kind of a dramatic version. So you could do either version. But I just love going Vampy Glam. So going back with that little 506 brush with the black, right where her crease meets her wing, that's where we're going to darken up right in there, and we're going to bring some of that black into the windshield wiper movement here. Anything that's a little off, go ahead and blend it. Again, when you're using your black, only use it with the tip of the brush so it's not just spewing all over the place. And we're going to go in with the chocolate again with the blending brush here and just smooth it right above the black so it just has this amazing blend to it. See how quick that is? When you use good products, good brushes, and you're only using the product on the tip of the brush if you need a small area done, it doesn't get messy and you can really create a beautiful finish. Again, with my little baby brush, I'm gonna look up all the way. I'm gonna connect the wing to the lower lash line. And we're gonna dust away any fallout. Stunning. Absolutely stunning. Now, all that's left on the eyes, of course, besides for the lashes, is adding a little bit of sparkle. And this is an optional step. This is just something I really like to do. I'm going to mix the heavy metal liquid liners, the glitter liners from Urban Decay. I'm going to mix this color called Glam Rock, which is a silver, and Distortion, which is an iridescent, kind of a clear. And also have a flat brush handy. The brush that I like to use is MAC 195 flat brush. So go ahead and close your eyes and keep it closed for a little bit. I'm just going to add a little bit of this sparkle throughout the eyelid. There's a silver, and then there's the clear right over it. Spreading it out, and then using the flat brush to really spread out the product. And make sure it's just very sheer and not overbearing. Same on the other side. Spread out some of the silverish color, or any color you guys want, honestly. And then here's my translucent color. And I'm just going to use the brush to flatten and spread. Alrighty, so while that dries, we're going to talk a little bit about the lashes. The lashes that we're going to use are the Flutter Lashes Tamana lashes. Yay. I love these lashes, and the coolest part is you can totally customize them. So I used these previously on Zora during the promo shoot. All the pictures that you guys saw, we had a promo shoot yesterday. And so I already trimmed the edges of them. And then what I do is, you see these long spikes? You can actually trim them if someone doesn't want them too long. I kept the outer 3/4 of the length of the lashes full length. And this inner quarter of the lash, I gave those long ones a trim. So if you have the Flutter Lashes in the style Tamana, just know that you can totally customize them. I designed them so that you can customize them, so you could do any look with these lashes simply by trimming, and it will not ruin the look of the lashes because only those spikes are long. Everything else is shorter and denser, so you can actually style them the way you want to, which I love about these. So I'm going to go ahead and curl her lashes. I'm going to put some mascara on, and then I'm going to pop these lashes on her. Go ahead and open your eyes, and you can see a little bit of that sparkle, how beautiful it looks. She's going to look down to the floor now while I curl her lashes. This is the Shiseido Lash Curler. And I'm going to use the Hypnose Drama Waterproof Mascara. Go ahead and look up all the way to the ceiling. I do the bottoms first. And then I could do the top, so I'm just gonna let this kind of settle for a second. Okay, and look down. We're gonna do the tops while she looks down, lifting the lid, going right into the roots. And now we're ready to pop on the lashes. So I'm going to use my House of Lashes latex free brush on glue, houseoflashes.com. I love them. And I'm just going to do the rim of the lashes, very easy. We're going to let this product get sticky first and then pop it on. So while that gets sticky, I'll go ahead and apply some glue on the other ones. And now I can go back to the first pair. Let that really get sticky and then pop it right on. We're going to use my tweezers to do that. Just going to fan it so it can really get sticky here. Sorry if my voice sounds really nasally. I'm getting over a cold, as some of you may know from my Snapchat. And if you guys don't know my Snapchat name, it is DYF Tamana, so it's DYF-TAMANNA. You can find me there. And now we're just sticking these babies on. Close your eyes. Open. There we go. Another tip with false lashes, you want to curl them first, but I had already pre-curled them when I used them on her yesterday. We're just reusing the same pair. You can actually use these same lashes like 30 to 50 times if you're taking good care of them. Ready to pop on the other ones. Close your eyes. Open. Awesome. Looks stunning. Oh my god. Okay, cool. So now that that's done, we're going to do the Vampy Glam lips, one of my favorite parts. So I'm going to use a couple of my favorite items here. I'm going to mix a few things together. I'm going to use Bespoken for Pro Longwear Lip Pencil from MAC, which looks like this. It's a beautiful dark vampy color. I'm going to use a really good thick layer of Saleha Beauty, one of my favorite dark lipsticks ever. This is Crazy Love by Saleha Beauty. Again, you can totally use my discount code on this, DYF15. This is how it looks like. It's a beautiful, rich wine. And then on any areas that I feel like it needs some little bit of red in it, I have this really dark red called Heathers from the Liquid Lips by Anastasia Beverly Hills. So those are the three things I'm going to use on her. We're going to start off with the Pro Pencil Bespoken for. And I'm just lining her natural rim of the lips. once I line it, I'm gonna kind of clean it up a bit, sharpen up the line, fill in the edges and stuff like that. So now I'm just refining. Fill in the outer edge. Make sure when you're using dark colors, you have to make sure all the way around the mouth is really, really sharp. You don't want any parts skipped over, because as soon as they smile, you'll be able to see all those areas that you skipped. So now that it's lined, I'm going to go in with my Soleil Beauty lipstick with a generic lip brush. This lip brush is from Michael's Art Supply. It's not even a lip brush. I just like the shape of it. And I'm going to smooth out this color all throughout the lips. It is so, so beautiful. Soleil Beauty Crazy Love. And now I'm going to use the Anastasia Beverly Hills Heathers right over it. To give it a little bit of that brick red look. Be very careful around the edges. And if you're doing it on your client, do not let your client press her lips together because it could ruin everything. So just give them a little warning, let them know once I apply your lips, don't move your lips, don't press them together. Just let me use my brush to do all those fine tunings. Once you're done with that, we're going to use, you know what, let me round this area a little bit. We're going to use a concealer to clean up the edges. Oh my god, I love it, Zora. Looks amazing. So we're going to go in with another Michael's Arts and Crafts brush, which has a nice sharp edge to it. And I'm dipping into my foundation palette from Cinema Secrets. This is that Michael's brush. And I'm just using any medium tone here. And I'm just going to clean up the edges. Anything that needs a little sharpening. There we go. All right. And last but not least, if you feel like the lashes need some spiking up, especially for this Vampy Glam look, I'm going to go in and just spike up the lashes just a bit. Open. Excellent. Go ahead and look up all the way. There. All right. Now, I can let her hair down a little bit and you guys can see the full transformation. Zora, I think you look amazing. I love this look on you. So we're gonna zoom out so she can do this whole side-to-side look for you. You guys can take your screenshots, make sure you remember where everything went. And yeah, I'm a huge fan of this look. I think in the right occasion, anyone can get away with this. Even if you have hooded eyelids, you remember what I said, go a little higher with your crease. If you have hooded eyelids like I do, I have double hood on one eye and one hood on the other eye. It's ridiculous. And I was able to pull this off for my New York seminar where you guys fell in love with this look and requested it to be on DYFL. So I'm so glad we were able to do this. Also, if you guys have, if any of you out there are super, super light skin, blue eyes, fair skin, blonde hair, you can absolutely do this. It's going to look more dramatic. You don't have to go as black or as dark with it. But even if you did, I've done this on a blonde girl and it looked absolutely stunning. I should actually repost her picture for Flashback Friday tomorrow. And you'll see how amazing it looks. It's so beautiful, especially on girls with really fair skin and light hair. It looks even more exotic. But yes, you can absolutely do this. Don't be afraid of going dark, especially this season. You're allowed to. It's okay. We can go crazy. I hope you guys liked it. And now at this point, we're going to go ahead and do the Q&A for a few minutes before we say bye-bye. Let me grab my phone here. If you guys missed any part of it, we have about 10 minutes of Q&A right now. So if you go to my latest post on Instagram, this post right here from our promo shoot yesterday, you can ask me anything in the comments and I will try my absolute best to answer as many questions that I can. But again, I'm such a fan of this look. It looks amazing. If you guys are not a fan of going too shiny, let me just show you one more little thing. If we could just zoom in real quick on the face. I want to show you this version if we were to mattify a little bit. There's two ways that you can do this Vampy Glam. One is this way that I like to do it with like super shiny highlight. That's good. Super shiny highlight. If you want to mattify it, just use a couple of these colors here from Anastasia Beverly Hills. This is the Golden Peach and this is the Banana. And you can go in and actually re-soften. If you're not into a major highlight, you can mattify over it or just skip the highlight altogether, the shiny highlight, and keep everything more porcelain. Especially if you're going for like that vampy like 1920s 30s look. They didn't really do much shine. They did it more powdery, more mattified porcelain doll kind of a thing. So if you want it mattified, that's how it's gonna look. You can just mattify a little bit of everything and it won't look as shiny. So that's completely up to you. If you don't want it as shiny, this is how I would do it. Just mattify right over. It looks amazing. Go ahead and do your side to side little thing. Let them take their screenshots. Looks amazing. Oh my gosh. And that little bit of sparkle goes a long way. I am a big advocate for glitter, but if you guys aren't into glitter, that's totally okay. Just keep it matte and it's not a big deal at all. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna zoom out. I'm gonna take a seat in Zora's place and I'll answer some of these questions that you guys have here for the next 10 minutes and then we're gonna say bye.
Thank you guys.
Thank you, Zora. Yay! Looks amazing. All right, so I'm gonna take the hot seat. You guys asked me stuff and I'm here to answer. All right, I'm gonna refresh here. Let's see some of the beginning questions just so I can make sure that I have everything here. Ooh, my. Okay, so I answered a bunch of those questions about the hooded eyes. So if you guys missed it, just watch this tutorial. I talked about hooded eyes, where to go. And then also, her neat core is asking how do I fill in really thin eyebrows but still make them look natural. In this class, I had a little mini brow tutorial on Zora. She has kind of thinner eyebrows as well. And so I thickened them up, and what you want to do is you want to make hair strokes. So instead of making line, and filling them in super thick, you want to make little hair strokes in your eyebrow so it looks like fuller hair. And I showed that in this class. You can actually rewind when you see the recording and watch that. I have a lot of questions regarding hair. I know I'm overdue for a hair class, so I will add that in for November classes. We're going to do another kind of a hair class. One of my students has asked me many times about going over the S-wave. If you guys have this request, please let me know in the comments so I can add that in. A lot of you guys are having a hard time creating that sexy S-wave bang when we're doing Hollywood wave or anything like that. So this S-wave bang, I really wanted to show you. Basically what you want to do is you want to really tease in like lines this way, so long lines, and bring your hair up this way. You want to hold the hair up, flip it over your hand so that it doesn't flatten out. So when you're brushing it, put your hand here and brush over your hand so that it doesn't flatten out, and then you can flip it. But I will have to show you guys in a class, so I'll definitely do that. If you guys all are requesting it, please let me know, and I'll do one specific class just for how to style bangs in different ways and how to create that perfect S-wave in your bang. It looks really good on brides as well, so I think it's really important. All right, Harneet is also asking, how do you make eyes that are very round, less round? So if you have round eyes and you want to make them less round, do what I did on Zora. Add an inner wing and add an outer wing and make them straight out instead of angled up. Make them straight out, and the eyes will look more slanted and more, I guess, longer, wider, rather than rounder. Oh, Mandy Core MUA is asking about the all-access pass for the Hollywood Waves. I'll look into that. I'm not sure why you're not able to see that class, but every single class should be available for all access. So I'll make sure that it's up in case there's any issues with that class. But the Hollywood Waves class is very important. I think everyone should watch that class. Let's see here. A lot of comments, but I'm trying to look for questions. So someone's asking about glitters, what glitters are best for beginners. If you're not used to using loose glitters, I really recommend the NYX color glitter eyeliners, which are very similar to the one that I used on Zora today, which is from Urban Decay. It's a liquid liner kind of a application. It's like a gel. It's already pre-mixed, so all you have to do is draw it on and pat it down with a brush so it doesn't get all goopy. And it's the easiest thing to use if you're a beginner. All right, AA_Landry is asking, how do you do time management when it comes to brides and bridesmaids? I have my first wedding coming up, and I would love to hear your tips and tricks for who to get done first and how to make the process go faster. And then also, do you do the same look on all the bridesmaids, or do you make it a little bit different for each one? So that's a good question for those of you out there who are wondering about how I do my brides and bridesmaids and big bookings. What I normally like to do is I'll spend 1 hour on the bride, and I'll spend about 30 to 40 minutes per bridesmaid depending on the look that they want to do. I ask the bride, obviously, like, is there a specific theme that you want the bridesmaids to be, or are they okay with doing whatever they want? And Mainly the thing that I get is they can do whatever they want. So and my bridesmaids usually don't like to go super dramatic, so it works out for me, so that way I can go really dramatic on the bride. If the bridesmaids ask for the exact same makeup look as the bride, I'll make sure it looks a little bit different. And the truth is, you can do the exact same makeup look on everyone, and it's going to look different on everyone. No one has the same face unless they're twins. They're not going to look exactly the same, so it will be okay. You could do similar looks on everyone and it's not going to look exactly the same. You could do little tweaks, like someone can have a little bit more smokier, someone can have a little bit more sharper, someone can have more shiny skin, someone can have more matte skin. There's variations of everything. But as far as time management, if I'm booked for an all-day wedding on location, I'll tell my bride, you know, I'll give her the choice of when she wants to go. Does she want to be my first? Does she want to be in the middle? Or does she want to be towards the end? And I do not give everyone a separate time. I expect everyone to be ready for me when I get there. So let's say if there's 5 bridesmaids, I ask them all to be ready for me by the time I get there, so that whoever wants to go can just go. My chair will never be empty. I never have to sit there and wait for a bridesmaid to show up to her appointment. No one has an actual appointment time. Whatever my start time is, I just ask my bride, what time do you want me there and what time do you want me gone? And let me see how many people I can fit in. So if everyone needs to be ready by 6 p.m., then if it's like, you know, a lot of people, then maybe we should start at 10 a.m. or 12 p.m. or whatever it is, as many people as I need. I just calculate how much time I need per person, and I make sure that my bride has double amount of time, just in case of any delays or whatever. And I ask my bride again if she wants to go first. I make sure she's done first, and then I can bang through everyone else. But usually my brides want to go somewhere in the middle, just so that they're not like sitting around doing nothing all day, and they still have time to take pictures before their walk-in. So I usually do a few bridesmaids first, and then I'll do the bride. Like I'll do like the sister and the mom and like people who actually have other things to do too. I'll get them out of the way, then I'll do the bride, and then I'll do the rest of the bridesmaids who don't really have too much to do. But honestly, I don't really care who I do first. I literally just tell my bride, what time do you want everyone done? Okay, this is the time I need to start then. And by the time I come, I need everyone in the room, or everyone needs to be ready for me. Or what you could do is, if it's like a huge booking, I'll have half of them in the room with me ready to go so that I'm not waiting. And then I'll tell the bride to call, or someone to call the second half of the group to come in a couple hours later, just so that they're ready for me. And honestly, they have enough stuff going on, so if they want to paint their nails or whatever while they're waiting, they can do that. But I'm not going to be the one waiting in that room idle, because it's going to waste so much time. I need to work with no break. So I prefer everyone to be ready for me when I arrive. So that's how I work. And then if there's hair and makeup that needs to be done, usually I'm doing the makeup and we hire someone else for hair. And it is the bride's responsibility to hire someone. I can give my suggestions, but I'm not going to be liable for a hair person. They need to deal with that separately. All right, Beauty by Neetu from New Delhi, India has a question. Whenever I apply powder on my nose, it looks dry and flaky from both sides, especially near my nostrils. Can you please let me know what we should do? So if you're very dry and flaky around your nose, first of all, every night before you go to bed or every day in the shower, you want to scrub that area to remove any dead skin cells that are just sitting right on top of the nose, any of the flakes. You want to get rid of them. And then make sure you're using a lot of moisturizer around those areas too. But when you're doing your makeup, you should also put on like a silicone-based primer to smooth the areas and get in between any of the rough zones, so that when you do slide your makeup over it, it slides on smoothly without any of the rough patches and the dry patches. So Professional from Benefit is a great primer to put on patchy zones like that and rough zones. So you could slide that on, pat it down, and then put on your foundation and your powder, and it shouldn't look as flaky anymore. As long as you're scrubbing every day and you're using a good primer, you should be okay, so try that. So Bella by Nidia is asking, can you please do a class on how to cover melasma? I get clients with very dark pigmentation on cheeks especially, and I would love to know your opinion and also how you work on clients like that. Thank you. Oh, you're so funny. Thank you. Okay, so to cover melasma or any type of hyperpigmentation on the skin, if it's dark, you want to make sure you're using an orange concealer first to remove the darkness and cover that up and then use their actual color over it. The orange is going to knock out the darkness so that it doesn't turn gray later. So if you just go in with their actual color foundation or a light color concealer over dark pigmented areas, it's going to turn gray. So you want to use an orange color first and then put on whatever beige color over it, and it will hide it very nicely. Also, stick with full coverage products. Kevin Aucoin Sensual Skin Enhancer is a great one. Cinema Secrets foundation palettes like I was using, those are really full coverage as well. MAC Studio Fix is pretty full coverage too, but if you're going to cover hyperpigmentation, I prefer fuller, creamier, heavier product. Derma Blend also works pretty well, but their color range isn't the best. All right, I have another minute. It's 8:45. Gosh, I wish I could continue answering questions. I love answering your questions. Okay, so another question is, how can I make my lips look matte but still not dry? You're struggling with this. So make sure your bride or your client or yourself scrubs your lips daily. You can use honey and sugar, like brown sugar, something very like major granules, to smooth your lips so that it's as smooth as possible. Get rid of all the dryness. And then use some chapstick or lotion. Some eye cream also works on the lips really well, so eye cream. And then apply your lipstick accordingly. But it's not going to be as long lasting because it's going to go over something. It's not going to stick as well when you're using it over chapstick. So what you want to do to get it to last longer again is to use those liquid lipsticks or mattifying lipsticks. Like Soleil lasts a really long time too. And another thing you could do is when you're applying your lipstick, put some translucent powder over it to set it and then apply another layer of the lipstick. And that's going to keep it on longer without it being like flaky or dry or crazy. So make sure you're prepping it really well first. All right, I'm going to sneak in one more question. Let me just make sure everything else is okay. I love that you guys are answering questions for each other. I love that. We are such a community. It makes me so proud that you guys are helping each other answer questions. Especially when you know I've answered it before. I love that. It's amazing. Well, I guess it's all the questions that I've been answering already. Okay, here's a question that's really interesting. Giovanna Paramo Makeup is asking, I use a soft ochre paint pot from MAC, but it turns some of my clients' eyeshadow lids into a green. It's so crazy. I was using literally like pink eyeshadows and they turned emerald green. My clients were light skin tone. So the only time like a yellow eye thing, because the soft ochre paint pot is a yellow base concealer type of product. It's very yellow. So if you're going to use that and it's turning green on someone, that means they have a lot of blue undertone on that area of their skin. So if their eyelid has like veins, visible veins on it where it's kind of blue and you're putting this yellow paint pot over it, it's going to turn green. So what you want to use is something that's a little bit more orangey. So an option would be to use like a very thin layer of an orange concealer on the eyelid first and then put on the paint pot so it looks more apricot, and then the colors will be more true. Another option is to use like Painterly paint pot if they're very fair skinned. That color does not have any yellow in it, so it won't turn as green. It's like a pink tone, pinkish gray base. So if they have very, very fair skin, try painterly paint pot instead of soft ochre, but usually I like soft ochre. Anyway, that will conclude today's class. I know a lot of you may have had trouble logging in. We sincerely apologize for that. So many people were trying to log in at the same time, and sometimes the servers just can't handle it. We actually added a ton more server space, but I guess just everyone just tried to log in at the same time. So what we're going to try to do for future is, one tip that I have for you is if you do know that a class is coming up, like the next class is going to be the Halloween special. So a few minutes before the class actually starts to air, go ahead and log in, be ready, and see if that helps. And also refreshing your browser, removing cookies, and all that stuff can also help. But if you guys ever have any questions on logging in, I have the best customer service team that I work with daily. They're there 7 days a week. So if you guys have any questions, you can always email info@dressyourfacelive.com so that they can walk you through anything that you have any questions on. I try to make this space very user-friendly. My number one thing is to provide very easy access online education for you all. So if there's anything that's preventing you from getting that perfect experience, please email us and we will help you right away. And I'm just so proud of my customer service team for there's thousands of you guys, thousands of members out there, and we strive to have the best customer service. So if there's anything you need at all, email my team and they will help you as soon as possible, okay? Thank you again so much for watching. I will see you very soon for the Halloween special. I cannot believe it's been a year since Dress Your Face Live has aired for the first time. I'm just so proud of all of you guys for, doing amazing, and I can tell that you're using the techniques and you're getting better and better, and I love that. I'm so proud of you guys. So thank you so much. You should really give yourself a pat on the back for being so amazing and taking this next level of education very seriously, like I do. So yes, we will see you guys soon for the Halloween special. Stay tuned on my Instagram page for how to vote for your favorite look for Halloween so that I can teach that look to you guys. Really excited, and that's going to be in another week or week and a half or so. So I'll see you then, okay? Love you guys. Bye.